Welcome, friends. Thank you for joining me today. This week, I decided I want to discuss love. L-O-V-E. Perhaps it's because Valentine's Day is at the end of the week, but maybe it's also because I just feel as if it's time to remind everybody, you gotta love yourself.
I'm Stephanie Filardi. Welcome to Mind the Gap, the podcast. I believe many people fall short of living the life of their dreams simply because they get stuck in what I call the gap. The vision behind this podcast is to help you understand how to navigate the gap and in the process, awaken to the life that is waiting for you. It starts now. Let's go.
Let's begin by taking 3 conscious breaths. Inhale, filling belly, ribs, chest. Exhale, sweet release, let it go. Chest, ribs, belly. Inhale, filling belly, ribs, chest. Exhale, chest, ribs, belly. One more time. Inhale, filling belly, ribs, chest. Exhale, sweet release, chest, ribs, and belly. Love. What is love?
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more.
What is love? It's a feeling. It's an action. It's what makes the world go round. It's what motivates our action. What I want to share with you today is love as it relates to love for ourselves. So self-love. It's one of my favorite topics, and I wanted to discuss it in context of the gap. So as you know, the title of this podcast is Mind the Gap. And over the years, I've used the word gap in many different ways. The intention behind this podcast is to help listeners navigate the gaps that they find themselves in life. So those can be moving from a job to another job, could be moving from a relationship. It could also be those emotional gaps that we experience. So maybe we're experiencing sadness and we want to experience joy. So gap has a lot of meaning. And the other day it occurred to me that there's another way to discuss self-love as it relates to the gap. And it's this, that the greater the gap between the things about ourselves we love and the things about ourselves we don't love, the greater that gap, the more we suffer. The more we suffer. And if you're listening to this, I suspect that there probably are some things about yourself that you don't love. Some of you may have many things. But if you really think about it, if we can actually love all parts of ourselves, wouldn't it make life easier? Wouldn't we have less stress and more peace? Because oftentimes what happens is in life, when we see a quality in someone else that we don't like, it's usually because somewhere that quality is within us. It's either a quality that we're afraid of or a quality that maybe for some reason we have just this kind of negative belief about. So my inspiration and my invitation to you for this week is to just take an honest look at what are the parts of yourself that you absolutely love and write them out. What are those parts and pieces about yourself? So physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, spiritually, all the different planes, right? So maybe you are amazingly healthy. Maybe that's something that you love about yourself. You love your discipline, your eating habits, or not. Or maybe you love the fact that you're extremely successful in your job and you're a financial rock star. Or maybe not. Or maybe you're really happy about the relationships you have in your life. Or not. So look at your life and list out all the parts of yourself that you love. And then list out the parts that for whatever reason you feel like you can't love or don't love. And as you do that, have compassion for yourself. This is an exercise in awareness. And after you do that, choose one thing that you don't like about yourself or love about yourself and see if you can integrate it into your being. See if you can actually play a game and say, you know what, that thing that maybe I'm not eating so healthy or I'm not as disciplined as I want and I don't like that about myself. See if you can actually love it. See if you can actually own it and say, yeah, you know what, I'm not that. That's not how I am being right now. Because what I promise will happen is once you can love all parts of yourself, especially the hardest parts, there's an acceptance that happens. And I've talked about that before. And when we accept what is, we free up the energy to then create what we want. So maybe there needs to be a kind of a personal reckoning to say, you know, I don't love about myself that I say I'm going to work out and then I don't. I oversleep, or I say I'm going to cook more and I don't, or I'm going to drink less. Whatever it is. Maybe if you admit to yourself that, wow, I don't like it and I can accept it and I can also change it. Because when we move from a place of true love for ourselves, guess what happens? We're able to truly love others. Those of us who are able to love others unconditionally have gone through the process of having to love ourselves unconditionally, right? So when you go through an experience in life, let's say you go through some sort of a breakup, can't you have more compassion for other people that are going through that because of your experience? Absolutely. So the same is true as it comes to loving ourselves. When we can love the hardest parts of ourselves, what we learn along the way is to have compassion for ourselves. We learn patience. We learn understanding. We learn forgiveness. And the power that exists when we can forgive ourselves, as some of you already know, is incredible. It frees us. So as you practice loving all parts of yourself, you naturally are able to love others more fully, more deeply, with compassion, with grace, with mercy. And we all deserve this. Some of us were lucky enough to get it growing up, that unconditional love from a parent or some other parental figure in our life. But some of us have never gotten it. So we're learning how to do it. And have fun with it. It doesn't have to be so serious. That's my invitation for you this week. List out what you love. List out what you don't love. And choose one thing that you don't love. And love yourself up on it. And notice what happens. Because in order to prosper in this life, you gotta love yourself first. And then everything from there extends outward. You deserve it. You're doing great. You're worthy. Let's go.
If you find this podcast helpful and if it provokes you in any way, meaning you love what I have to say, or maybe you don't like it because it triggers you, awesome. I've moved something in you, and perhaps you will want to share this with someone else in your life who might be interested in being moved. So you can find us on Apple, on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts. And as always, feel free to share links with people you love, because remember, we are in relationship with each other. So the more that you are present and you invite other people on the journey, the more peaceful world we will live in, because we will be together understanding these concepts. So I thank you for your support, and you help us keep the show going by sharing it, by liking it, by giving us reviews, and helping us to grow. Thank you.